It's now time for a motion to adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson, JP.
And good afternoon. How you doing, brother Dawn?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How's things with you?
I'm blessed, and
Good.
it's just the two of us today,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna have a very special guest. What they call this? My Dave Chappelle impression.
Your monologue?
My monologue. Yes. Good afternoon to the people of Bermuda. Thank you once again for having us in your cars on your way home and in your homes as you listen in for the next hour or 45 minutes. It's always a pleasure that when we go out in public, somebody stops and says, "Hey, I was listening to you the other day, blah, blah, blah," and we learned a lot. Because the purpose of this show isn't just to kill time during your drive, but it's to inform the people of Bermuda on various different topics. Over the last month, we've had a Minister of Youth, Culture and Sport. We've had the president of the BPSU.
Hi,
And
how are
we've
you?
also
This is,
had
Don
a
Gordon for Inside
call
Sports
from
for Chris.
our
I'm gonna put you on hold.
brother Ron Grant down in the Virgin Islands. So today, we've had enough of the brothers. We're going to have very special guests. We are going to have a lady today. Not just a lady, not just any lady, but a lady of stature, a lady of leadership. Today's guests, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, but I will set the stage. Today's guest is from the beautiful island of Jamaica. She's a very powerful woman, and she's going to be talking today on two key topics, well, a few topics, but two key topics will be women in leadership and regional unity. But before we get to that, I just want to say congratulations to our newest senator, Senator Leslie Robinson, who was appointed today, a fellow Barclay, a little bit advanced than me, let me put it that way. But Barclayite, I don't know how she was on. She is now the Junior Minister of Economy and Labor and Works and Engineering, or Public Works. And also another Barclayite, Honorable Kim Swan, Junior Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sport. Congratulations. They just got appointed at 2 o'clock today by Her Excellency, the Governor of Bermuda. So without further ado, I now introduce to the people of Bermuda, Miss Imani Duncan Price. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Wow. You coming through clear. How art thou?
Thank God for technology. I am very good. I'm very good. And thank you for that lovely introduction.
Yes. Yes.
I appreciate that. And an exciting day as well for Bermuda with all those persons being sworn into leadership.
Yes.
Very good.
Indeed. Women in leadership. So how Bermuda's Senate is set up, our senators are by appointment. And we have 11 senators. How it's set up is that the government has 5 senators and the opposition has 3 senators and the governor appoints 3 senators. So that's your configuration. So out of the 5 government senators, there are 4 women. There's
Excellent.
Senator Lindsey Simmons, Senator Ariana Hudson, Senator Reverend Dr. Emily Gale Deal, and now Senator Leslie Robinson. So 4 out of 5 of all senators are women. Women in leadership.
That's excellent. And it's important, not just because you want to have women, but it's important because it's a sign that the premier is committed to diversity of thought. It's been found in research globally in governments, in private sector boards, that you get better, more robust thinking, better strategic thinking when you have diversity of views. And by virtue of women and men just being raised differently, having different experiences, they bring to bear different perspectives on the formulation of laws, of policies, of programs for men and women and boys and girls, you know. So I'm a big proponent of gender equality in business and gender equality in leadership in government because it makes for better policies. It's much more representative. So kudos, because I know that at the level of sometimes elected politics, we don't see as many women present there. So where the premier or other leaders can make sure that they're choosing what to balance things out, that's a powerful statement. So big up, as I say in Jamaica.
All right. So I will allow you, because I could just read off a script and you'll be sound dry and, you know, unintelligible or whatever. So I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself to the people of Bermuda.
I don't think, though, that you can ever sound unintelligible. So I don't know about that part. But I will do it. I'll do it. Okay, Bermuda. Good afternoon. My name is Imani Duncan Price. I am a passionate change maker. I believe very much in changing our systems to enable people, everyday people, to have the best chance to live their best life, to pursue the dreams that they want to pursue. And that's been driving me for my entire life in terms of social justice, in terms of fighting for equality of opportunity. And that's why I am a progressive thinker and leader. I was a senator in government in Jamaica, and I have been chief of staff to the president of our party, former Minister of Finance, Dr. Peter Phillips in Jamaica, who really oversaw an incredible transformation of our country under the leadership of our former Prime Minister, Portia Simpson Miller, and trying to balance out, you know, people, balancing the books while balancing people's lives was a big part of the mantra of the government then, and who we are as a party. I've been a private sector leader. I've worked in strategy development, looking at acquisitions and mergers of different entities in the Caribbean. I'm an advocate for Caribbean strength, for regional strength, for islands coming together, and leveraging the power of what unity means in this world. I have also been a co-founder of a policy think tank headquartered in Jamaica. It's called the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, because I believe that we have to have policies and strategies that are informed by data, informed by effective information to get better results, because we haven't always gotten the best results for our people across our region. And I think with better policy making, that it will make a difference. And so I formed that as an independent entity about 12 years ago to help to just make better governance decisions and to hold politicians accountable. We need partners to hold us accountable. I am a community organizer. I work with women on women's empowerment issues. I recently founded a foundation based on what I saw as some of the challenges that need to be addressed, not only by government, but just also by, I think, well-thinking citizens. And so my foundation focuses on women's economic empowerment as well as affordable, dignified housing, because housing has just been a challenge in our countries and too many citizens can't afford what's there. And it goes back to the original vision that everybody can live the life that they want to live as best as possible without harming anybody else and maximizing their potential. That's me. And I'm a mother. Oh my gosh. How could I forget this?
You
Gosh.
stole my
Three
punchline.
children.
Yeah, teeth out the
I have
punchline.
three. No, man, you can't forget that part, you know. I have three beautiful children, an 11-year-old, 9-year-old, and 7-year-old, Aiden, Marley, and Sailor. And an incredible partner in my husband, Stephen Price, who is a great father, a great CEO, just an incredible leader. I get it done kind of guy, for which I'm grateful for because, you know, you need partnership in life.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think anyone...
Is that okay? Was that in summary?
Yes, your CV is quite intact. So...
Oh, I should also mention the World Economic Forum and all those other things. I mean...
Yeah, why stop now?
Well, just to say that the nature of these things is not about just what it is about me. It's about what we all fight for power, not for ourselves, but to empower people, to empower change, right? And so when you hear me talk about these things, it's not for self-aggrandizement. It's that you keep pushing and pushing to try and create and find solutions. And in doing so, other entities recognize it. So I've been very fortunate to be named World Economic Forum Young Global Leader. That was in 2015, but it's like a 5-year fellowship. And once you're part of it, you are part of the network forever. And it's an incredible entity of people just trying to make a difference in different ways, yeah? And then Vital Voices Public Leadership Fellow, that's a group for women across developing and developed countries looking to transform the nature of leadership, having more heart as well as smarts to complement the dominant male leadership that we've seen over decades and decades in this world. And also an Eisenhower Fellow, where we looked at how to develop from developing countries into new industries. And I've looked at creative industries, looked at sports as an industry, because of my country, Jamaica, has excelled in these ways, but through almost like natural talent, but not because we have a structure of an industry and a sector with multiple types of jobs in place in our country. And so all of these things I've done, trying to maximize opportunity to learn and to pass on the benefits to those who can really, really move it forward. And so I'm grateful for that part of my life as well, because all those networks and communities have contributed to who I am today, including my parents.
All right.
Yes.
So speaking of organizations that have contributed to not just your well-being, but the well-being of the people of the Jamaica and the people of the region.
Yes.
You were a government senator. You were a senator. Which party were you a senator of? Because there are, we don't want to just
member.
We don't want people just be thinking, maybe she was on that side, or maybe, we want
on this side. No, I am a proud member of the People's National Party, and when that party was in power in the term of 2011 to 2016, like in your situation in terms of your government structure, the then Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Portia Simpson Miller, had recommended me to be a government senator, under which then the Governor General ratified my appointment during that time period. And as a member of the People's National Party, that's why I'm a progressive. Or rather, I'm a progressive, that's why I joined the People's National Party, because we have a shared philosophy about how we see things and systems and uplifting the majority of people in our country.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, for those who don't know, tell us a very, in 3 minutes or less, a very brief history of the People's National Party.
Well, the People's National Party was founded in 1938. We often say it is the oldest political party, established, still existing party in the English-speaking Caribbean. And it was started by Norman Manley and a group of similarly minded progressive thinkers at the time in Jamaica. It came out of while it's called a national party, it is a left-leaning party, geared more towards everyday Jamaicans having opportunity of lifting the masses of our country. And in fact, the reason why Norman Manley, at the founding of our party, said we shall call it national, because he also believed you had to have a cross-section of classes that came together in order to uplift the masses. So everybody working in partnership, but the predominant interest is the majority of this country, of my country, which had suffered significant, massive, my ancestors, inequality and oppression under slavery and colonialism. The party, interestingly, Norman Manley's son is Michael Manley, and the founder of the Progressive Labour Party in Bermuda were friends. In fact, a whole group of young people when they were younger in those days. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No,
when I say this?
You got to enlighten me. I'm a male.
No.
I can't multitask.
I want to know if you know your history.
I'm a male. I can't multitask. You got to give me some more hints, sir.
At least you're an honest male, though. So in the streets of London, back in the day, decades ago, we had, in fact, Errol Barrow of Barbados, Eugenia Charles of Dominica, Michael Manley, who is Norman Manley, son of Jamaica, Lyndon Pindling of the Bahamas, and Lois Brown of Bermuda.
I know that name from somewhere. You know that name, brother?
From somewhere?
I know Lois.
Have you ever heard of her?
Yes, she was
Yes.
she's the mother of the Progressive Labour Party.
Exactly. So similar thinking. They recognized together just how the systems in the world had really and truly shaped in a very negative way realities for the majority of people in our country. And I forgot to change it. I had energy. And so they came back to their respective countries, including Bermuda, including Jamaica. And later on, Michael Manley became the Prime Minister of Jamaica under the People's National Party as its president and pursued sweeping changes. National Housing Trust, maternity leave, a range of progressive socialist policies, which is geared towards changing the reality of our country. Now, this is why it's almost like we hold a shared philosophy. You know, I know that politicians are not perfect and we have not always delivered on all the right answers. But I think if you have a particular view of how to change things, it is what makes us stand together. It's how we shape solutions and how we seek to engage people. And a critical part of my party is that we believe very much in participation and engagement. Even though there's leadership, you have to engage people. You have to engage the ground, the base, the foundation to get the best ideas, to find the right solutions. And so as a progressive, as a socialist, because I'm a socialist, I believe that while we have to find ways to foster innovation and entrepreneurship in our countries and unleash the talent, we have to also make sure that we recognize that we have to find ways to leverage opportunity for people who don't have the chance.
That sounds,
You know?
that
So
sounds
that's
a lot
my
like
party.
that sounds a lot like what the PLP has done. Engage the ground, give people opportunities. Let the small man rise up.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar, right, brother? Doing?
Sounds familiar to me.
Oh, that's why they were friends.
That's why they were friends. They had a shared vision, a shared view of the world and how to go about making a difference.
Yes,
You know, and you have to stand on the shoulders of those who come before us. Respect and honor, but also learn lessons, right? And build in a better way.
All right, so we're going to go to a very, very quick break, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll move on to talk about progressive politics.
Shop more to redeem more, to live more, to shop more, to redeem more, to live more.
This is a cycle you don't want to break. Sign up for Clarion Visa Rewards and earn points for every dollar you spend using your Clarion Platinum or Infinite credit card.
Redeem more, to live more, to shop more, to redeem more, to live more, to shop more.
Redeem points for airline tickets with no blackout dates, Visa luxury hotel accommodations, and car rentals when you travel. Now that's living more. To shop more, to redeem more, to live more, to shop more, to redeem more, to live more with the Clarion Visa card.
You're locked to Power 95, Bermuda's big station, at 94.9 FM, a Bermuda Broadcasting Company station.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Eloisa Mayers with your top stories to the hour, brought to you by Butterfield.
Keeping on top of my bill payments and juggling daily expenses can be challenging.
Why not simplify things? With Butterfield's debt consolidation loan, you can pay off your outstanding debts and have just one low monthly payment to manage. To apply for a debt consolidation loan or to discuss your lending needs, visit a Butterfield banking center today or call us at 295-1111.
With Butterfield, I've simplified my finances so I can focus on the things that really matter.
A new PLP senator was sworn in today. Tonight, there's a community meeting about the Medi-Waste incinerator in St. David's. CADA calls on police to set up roadside sobriety checkpoints. And those are your top stories to the hour, Brought to you by Butterfield, I'm Eloisa Mayers with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
.949 Bermuda. Our 95.
Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
And we're back. You there?
Very much so.
All right. So we're going to talk about, well, I should say we. You have the floor, Senator, to talk about what is progressive politics. And I say that I preface the word progressive politics because often people view politicians as persons who are just lecherous, who are just there to take something and do nothing for the people. And everyone gets painted with the same brush that, oh, you're just sitting in the seat, just collecting money. You're not doing nothing. The country's not moving forward, and I ain't going to vote no more, and blah, blah, blah. So I want you to tell the people of Bermuda your definition and examples of progressive politics, whether historic or current.
Okay. So I want people to think about that time period back in the 40s. And the 1940s was a time before our independence, right? All of our independence across the Caribbean, where England was the mother country of a lot of the Caribbean, including Bermuda and Jamaica. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And the nature of leadership that England sought and pursued for centuries before was one of exploitation and extraction of resources of these countries, both Bermuda and Jamaica and other Caribbean islands. And we had these young people going to England, right? Founder of the PLP, one of the leaders of the PNP, two political parties, not yet a part of that party. The party hadn't been formed yet in Bermuda, but thinking about why our countries were not developed, why black people in our countries didn't have a chance to be at schools like that, why they couldn't dream of the possibilities of options of developing themselves. What systems were we facing in our countries that were holding us back? Why was our education one that taught us that we weren't good enough as black people? Why was it that people only had certain jobs in our countries and couldn't earn beyond a certain amount? Why wasn't there minimum wage? Why wasn't there protection for maternity leave or things like national insurance benefits? Things that people need us to live a decent life. Why didn't everyday citizens in our countries have that opportunity? And these young people sat there and said, we have to plan. We have a vision for how we can change our countries. Right? And the founder of the PLP came back to Bermuda and began sharing the ideas. Those ideas are progressive ideas around saying that because a woman gets pregnant doesn't mean that she's not a good worker, doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve to have time off from work and to come back to a job that is secure. Maternity leave is an example of a progressive idea, meaning that you deserve an equal opportunity to earn just because you are a human being. Not because you're a woman, you should get less. When I understood that Lloyd was the first barrister, I mean, that's a big vision for yourself. But she would want that for everybody to have dreams for themselves, no matter where they came from. In progressive politics, it says that no matter where you're from, we're going to have systems in place to help you to move up in life, to pursue the life you want to live. In Jamaica, we had a thing in the 1970s that Michael Manley established called the National Housing Trust. And I say it because a home is one of the key parts of fundamental decent living for any human being, no matter where you come from. And it happens that in Jamaica, when we actually had our emancipation, slavery had finished, the slave owners got reparations. They were paid a compensation for losing their business of slavery, and the slaves got nothing. And for 100 years, they lived on the margins of society. My ancestors, my great-great-great-grandparents didn't have any land. They had nothing at all. Had to run to the hills. And so National Housing Trust was established to say, you know what, because you are Jamaican, because your foreparents worked hard in this country and gave of themselves, you deserve to have the opportunity to have a home. You deserve, if you're working, to be able to access land to build a home for yourself. Progressive politics seeks to correct the inequity in society, right? It seeks to pursue economics that when you actually foster innovation and foster growth in a country, you don't just spend the money on reducing taxes for the rich. Progressive politics says, you know what, you're going to have to tax those who earn a lot more and then redistribute those funds to fund social services to help the majority in a country have an opportunity to live a decent and good life, to fund good education. The goal is every school should be a good school, not just the top and narrow schools, right? The goal is that every hospital should be a good hospital, not just those that are seen by expats in a country. Everybody deserves a basic, decent level of life, upon which after that you can, achieve the highest heights based on your talents, but you shouldn't fall below a certain level of quality of life. And that's what progressives believe then and now. We have different methodologies to get there because we all learn different ways of how the world works and how we can better create and generate inclusive growth, right? Because the opposite of progressives is being a conservative. Conservatives believe that if you make a country grow a lot and companies are earning everything, then eventually the workers will have an opportunity to get something. They call it the crumbs off the table will fall to the bottom. We don't believe that as progressives. We believe that while the companies must also grow, you have to also put in place systems to make sure that the workers have protected rights, to make sure they have minimum wage, and that minimum wage is a living wage that is decent. And we don't hit every single goal of progressiveness, but we have to keep fighting for it, because if we keep people at the center of our policies, like what our forefathers and foremothers had said and done, we can really and truly move our countries forward. And that's progressive politics.
Yes, because I was having all of us are on different chat groups, right? And I was on a chat group, and this chat group based in the Virgin Islands. And someone was like saying, oh, the Virgin Islands shouldn't go independent because they're going to end up like blah, 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 Haiti. They'll end up like blah, blah, whatever, right? That's always the knee-jerk reaction of when someone talks about a country going independent. And I said, hold on. You all need to do your history, right? Because it wasn't as if when these countries were under the crown, right?
Yes.
Under the lady that just passed, it was not as if the people had a whole heap of schools. It was not as if the people had a whole heap of hospitals. It was not as if the people even had a whole heap of jobs and roots. Most of these countries in the Caribbean were agricultural, cotton cane.
Yep.
They were picking bananas. That was their economy. That was the length and breadth of what development that these countries were getting under the crown. When they went independent, they had to say, wow, we have to build schools for our people. We have to build hospitals for our people. We have to change the economy from our people cutting sugarcane to our people earning taxes, or our people earning their own guest house. That's progressive politics, right?
Yes, yeah.
And that is what has had to happen in every place that there has been colonization, whether it be in the Caribbean, in Asia, in Africa, in the Pacific. The British...
that's what Gandhi also fought for, right? That was the whole point.
Right.
Everything is just about they had the same issues as well, fundamental issues.
The British crown colonialism wasn't about empowering the people of the colony. It was about empowering Britain, extracting the goods and services that they could. But let me not get into that thing. Let's move on.
But the point being is that we have an ability, and to those who are naysayers about like independence and so forth, or cutting ties, we have a responsibility to, as leaders, to lead with integrity, to lead with the best interest at heart, but also citizens have to also work in partnership and hold accountable and also push forward to make our countries better, because it really is all of us together. Not just Bermuda by itself or Jamaica by itself, but Bermuda and Jamaica working together in a region, working with Barbados, working with Trinidad. I mean, Prime Minister Motley is an advocate for regional strength, because she knows that when she walks the halls of different entities internationally, while her voice is strong, she's but one vote as a country. But we as a region, working together, we can actually help to shape international policy and reshape systems. But we have to come together to find common ground that is in the interest of all of us. And I think the power and the potential is there.
So let's segue. You have this uncanny way of segueing into the next topic. The next topic we're going to talk about is women in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Senator, you have the floor.
You don't want to talk about it as a man?
No, because that's not in our place. That would be what they call that paternalism.
Well, I talk about male leadership all the time. Okay, so so here's the thing. The question is about leadership, right? That's really what the main question is, under which I think there are different types of leadership. I believe that the world, and I am grateful to be living in this age versus say about 100 years ago, where my free thinking, my outspokenness, my style to make a difference can be encouraged and not dampened. You know, there used to be a thing where there was a woman's place. Hello, there was also a place for children and what children could or could not do, and we are evolving as a world, and so I'm seeing value in different ways. I was having an argument with somebody a few days ago, and I said to them, when you talk about women's leadership, we're not talking about women dominating. We're talking about recognizing that while women and men are different, and that's a good thing that we're different, let's celebrate that. But while we are different, we are equal. And therefore, as men have every opportunity to rise to leadership in different ways, so should women in different ways. And that's why boards matter. Boards of companies matter, because boards shape the policies within which a company operates. It determines, does a company have a daycare, after-school program that persons can bring their children to, men and women, so they don't have to worry about their child being at home by themselves, or who's attending to them, etc., or worry about driving home from work quickly, but can be more productive at work. Having a progressive board with balanced leadership would make better decisions. And similarly, you know, as Michelle Bachelet said, that's a former president of Chile, similarly, when it comes to government, when it comes to program design, when it comes to laws and policies that are supposed to govern men and women, girls and boys, it has been found to be better, more representative, considering different realities when you have more parity, equality of men and women leaders in the political sphere. And importantly, men and women leaders who have a particular mindset, because you can be very backward, even if you're a woman. Being a woman doesn't mean you naturally have a certain outlook, right? But at least you have different views, and that is what makes for better, more representative politics. And I think we all agree we need to keep pushing the bar on better and better results for people in Jamaica, in Bermuda, in Barbados, in Trinidad. And you know, as bad as COVID-19 was, as a pandemic and what it did to our economies and countries, we also got a chance to see a different kind of leadership rise to the fore and excel. And I think that also helped to open people's eyes just in the Ardennes, New Zealand.
Oh, New
I mean, think about having a budget where well-being is the goal, not just GDP growth, but well-being of citizens. Mm-hmm. That's a function of who she is. Look at Mia Motley. I mean, the star of the Caribbean, trying to bring us all together in a particular kind of a way, a progressive leader she's just absolutely fabulous. And she has worked on her path of what, when I talk to Maya about how she got to where she is and just the challenges to her leadership, challenges to her as a woman and what people thought she could or could not do. No, man, serious and inspiring and total in her thinking, you know? And so I believe that we're seeing different models of leadership, different ways of leading, and I'm hoping it opens up more and more eyes that there are different ways and there is value, real value in women in leadership.
So I just
different spheres.
Thank you. I just got a text about 4 minutes ago from a parliamentary colleague, and I won't call the person's name because I'm not a snitch. The person said she agreed with you. She said man should be talking about women in leadership. Then she goes, and I replied and I said, well, I just stepped to the side and give you all the mic because that's the best way for women to lead is you all have the floor. Don't let me, right? So she replies and says both male and female should be talking about it. So I'm going to give my 2-minute speech on women in leadership. Not even 2 minutes. I went to a CPA course. CPA means Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. We did a CPA course. 3 segments of it was online course. 1 segment was in person in Montreal, Quebec. It was under McGill University. And one of the segments was about women in leadership. And it spoke about the different percentages around the globe where in Rwanda, for example, more than half of the parliamentarians are women.
Yes.
In Uganda, almost the same. Grenada was at that time, I don't know what it is now, but at that time, almost half the parliamentarians were women. And I looked at what the percentages were in the overseas territories, the small islands, I guess you would say. And it was not, I don't think any place had even cost 25 to 30%. And I said to myself, no, inadvertently, each one of us who are males as MPs are guilty of, inadvertently guilty of not bringing women to leadership, in the sense to say the Progressive Labour Party is run by women. Almost every branch of the Progressive Labour Party is a branch chair is a woman. Almost every, not all, almost all, and most many. Mm-hmm. Most of the committees are run by women. The executive, the chair is a woman, the deputy chair is a woman, the secretary general is a woman, the treasurer is a woman. The women are the majority. However, it does not reflect the same way when it comes to the elected parliamentarians. As we spoke about earlier, the appointed parliamentarians are majority women.
Yeah.
So my point is to say that you have people who are allies, right? Sometimes an ally, the best way for an ally is sometimes you got to speak up and sometimes you just got to sit back and do what you can to create a path for people to rise to where they should rise to. So that's me personally. I don't speak on the topic because I think that in itself is paternalism. That's like somebody white talking about telling how black people should feel about racism.
Right.
So anyway, that's...
But a white man as an ally or a white woman as an ally can be very helpful in moving forward the black movement as well. As an ally.
Right.
Not the voice of, but as an ally. It's important. And let me tell you, it's a similar thing in Jamaica, right? And I think it's about our history as a country. Majority of my political work is in the communities that I work are women. They're driving the politics, meaning the literal ground-to-ground, day-to-day working out there, the politics. But as you go up the party structure, the percentages drop off significantly, even within the internal party structure where there are internal elections and such. And it's a range of reasons, right? And one of them is that the nature of how people select candidates. There are informal ways. There are networks that perpetuate the kinds of candidates you see. So we have to create space sometimes. Affirmative action in the States, we have to create space, not because there weren't bright black people out there that could go to university, but universities were so used to having white people. That's all that they were having. So they had to have affirmative action to create the space, right? So that you could normalize that black people should go to school too. So in the politics, I'm not one to say that a person should fight their way up, etc. But when structures perpetuate themselves, so all you think about as a leader is a man. And you have to break that perception, that cycle, with special measures within our parties to say that, every other candidate or how we do the party list and so forth, the candidates, you get more women in there. And for a time period, not forever, just for a time period until we break that cycle of what we think is normal. How we look at funding our candidates. In Jamaica, the situation is that women aren't as well funded as men. Now, why is that? But look at that. And so how do you address that particular issue? And a woman feels funny sometimes going to ask for money because there are some things that are connotations of, and are not so positive in those conversations sometimes. There are real things on the ground. We look at leadership development and opportunity. So that's why for me, allies, when we find them as women, we have to nurture our allies, men and women, and we find practical ways to break through what some of the barriers have been. It's not legal barriers that are holding back women. There's some cultural barriers, some internal systemic barriers that we have to shift. Naming it is one thing. We have to figure out ways to actually put in place the solutions. And by the way, that is progressive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we're going to go to...
And also, just so we're clear, we're not just saying to do this because it's right. There's actually value in it. Companies that have diverse boards, as a board is the equivalent of a parliament, right, for a company, right? Mm-hmm. When companies that have diverse boards have a higher return on equity, 22% higher return on equity. That's what the research shows. So why would we not want our countries to have a similar kind of result? Mm-hmm. So we have to kind of look at ourselves and really push forward strategically and deliberately.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Looking forward to Bermuda moving up some more and Jamaica as well.
We'll go to break in the next 3 minutes, right? But before we go to break, what I failed to mention is that you are actually the guest, the keynote speaker at which event?
At the PLP's gala event on Saturday.
You said PNP?
I am so looking forward to... Not well, actually, can I tell you, it is too funny how close we are. The PNP, which is a sister party to the PLP, that is the Progressive Labour Party in Bermuda, has invited me to be their keynote speaker at the gala event on Saturday. I'm honored and I'm excited about the opportunity to share some of the ideas, to acknowledge where you guys are, what you're doing, and how we can chart the course together moving forward. And that is Saturday. So
Saturday at Hamilton Princess.
Excellent.
So just quickly, like the stuff that we talked about, the items that we talked about today, which you're so passionate and eloquently brought, would that be sort of contained in some of what you? I don't want to give away the story, but would that be?
No, it will be for sure, because we have to establish a connection between Bermuda and Jamaica, the PLP and the PNP, our progressive philosophy and history that's shared, but also where we are today in 2022, how we as governments, as parties, look at the world today and the future of work and the advent of AI. Right, in terms of artificial intelligence and how our countries have to be positioned in a way that our people can benefit. How do we carry people along so they can continue to create the life that they want to create? How do we look at climate change? How do we come together as a region? How do we advocate for continued real development in our countries? All of that is a part of what I'm hoping to share and will share for sure. And I look forward to this not being the only thing that we do together, but it being but one as we continue to build a relationship of sisterhood and brotherhood, familyhood of progressive.
You sound like popcorn. You sound like popcorn, man. So we're going to go to our last break, and then we come back and we'll talk about just what you talked about, regional unity, us building each other up as one.
Get the drive with Lucasade Energy. Buy Lucasade and enter for a chance to win the grand prize of a Toyota Hilux. Plus, win up to 500,000 instant prizes, including Fitbit watches, GoPros, earbuds, Amazon gift cards, and free Lucasade. To enter, buy one of the Lucasade Energy promo bottles and look under the cap for your code. Enter it online or send it via WhatsApp, CPRESS, and social media for details. Buy, win, and get the drive with Lucasade Energy today. Lucasade, taste the energy.
Welch's, the producers of the world's best-known Concord grape juice, have been based in Concord, Massachusetts since halfway through the 19th century. We've often featured this unique beverage due to its impressive health benefits and bold, unmistakable flavor. Welch's has gone on to diversify their range over the years, successfully launching many new juice-powered products designed for refreshment and portability. With the approaching holiday season in mind, we're featuring Welch's sparkling grape juices, the ideal non-alcoholic party refreshers brought to us by John Barrett and Son. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
Yes, and we are on the final leg of the radio show, and we are speaking to Miss. Do you say Miss or Mrs.?
Mrs. I am married, so Stephen would like to be acknowledged.
All
yes.
Right. So, because some people say no, say. So I just want to know what the prefix is.
I appreciate the question. Thank you.
All right. See, I'm learning a little bit. Mrs. Imani Duncan Price, and we are going to talk in the next 5 minutes as we close up about regional unity. And again, Senator, you have the floor.
Well, let me share a story with your listeners. So, when I was an EU, that's the European Union, visiting fellow. They had selected a range of different political leaders from Jamaica, actually two, one from each party. The Conservative Party, that's the other party that's currently in government, and then my party when we're in government. And I went to Europe, to the EU, to meet with parliamentarians there, to figure out how we could look at, better relations with the Caribbean, how they can help us to build climate resilience and also more innovative industries that would have value added in our countries to benefit us. That was my view. And I was in shock, let me tell you, when I met with these, they're called MEPs, members of European Parliament. And we live in an island where we think we're big, or we think we matter, And we also have a Caribbean swag given our history of who we are as a people, and, you have to notice us. But you see, to people who live in bigger countries with bigger economies, we're but a dot, but one. And it became so clear to me, even though it's bigger those countries, bigger countries like France and Italy, they felt the need to move in a block to form the European Union, because individually they could only do so much individually. And they had already strong societies and strong economies, as you would remember, right? But they saw the potential in the strength of moving as a block.
Point of order.
Yes, sir. Yes.
They have, just for clarity, they have stronger economies because why? Historically, they exploited us.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you, but guess what? History is one thing, but you see, at this point in time, I was dealing with a president where, at that point in time, even though they had benefited from exploiting us, and their economies were better as it was that day, they still wanted to be stronger and only saw strength in going forward by moving together. So, good point of order, but the bigger point for me was that even though they had benefited and were pretty much okay, they saw strength and unity, Mm-hmm. And so I believe that us, having had a similar kind of history, a similar experience historically, and left with different states of an economy of a society of different levels that hadn't really benefited the majority of people in our countries, in Bermuda, in Jamaica, in Barbados, in Trinidad, in Guyana, St. Kitts, etc., all these different countries with a similar profile. And even the Spanish-speaking countries too, because it's about proximity. Language is not a barrier anymore, right? It's about proximity. Who has a similar challenge with the hurricanes, with similar natural disasters, with threats of climate change? There are some things which are common to all of us that we, as islands, as countries in the Caribbean, Northern Caribbean, can come together with a stronger voice. And we don't recognize that potential sufficiently. At different points in time, in fact, the founder of our party, the People's National Party in Jamaica, was trying to establish a regional body, official, not just CARICOM, but official governing body, akin to the EU, before the EU was even conceptualized for the Caribbean. And Jamaica voted down, said, no, we don't want that. So we have to educate our people that while we have individual national identities, and it's important to celebrate our cultures and who we are as separate countries, there's also power in coming together, not just in CARICOM in terms of treaties of some sort, but a real powerful bloc, leveraging the power of population, numbers, yes, across all countries in the Caribbean, the sea, island area, etc., and also power in what we each bring. Bermuda has strength in financial services. Bermuda has strength and knowledge, experience in cultivating some sectors that we don't have. And we have strength in other areas. Guyana has strength in agriculture and oil and so forth. What if we pooled together what we have and determine what benefits we could share as a region, and then also how we speak and engage with the world, what we could create to create a better standard of living for our people differently, not just kind of pushing out on our own individually, but bringing strength in numbers. I think the possibilities are great. I think that the moment is now. I think that the impetus is even greater today than it was when CARICOM was started. I think the commonality is the impact of climate change and what the reality of it is making it very important for us to see the world differently and ourselves differently, and where the commonalities lie. And so I look forward to progressive leaders coming together to make it real, so we can move forward.
Because one of the I won't say irony, but just observation. Bermuda is about 21 square miles, a population of less than 70,000, right?
Yep.
Jamaica is 200 times that size.
200 times the size and 2.8 million people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4,400 something square miles, right? 200 times the size
and Guyana,
of Bermuda.
by the way, is about 10 times the size of Jamaica, but with less people than Jamaica.
Yes.
It's bigger than Bermuda, but 700,000 and odd people in Guyana. So you see the challenge we have, right?
Right. So
the numbers.
One of the things that, back to the ways, the thoughts of conservative mindsets, one of the things that historically the powers that be, the colonial-minded people, did to Bermudians, black Bermudians in particular, was to tell them, oh, there's people down in the Caribbean, you don't want to be anything like them because they're less educated, they don't even have decent houses, and black people being black people, they, if the white man said it, oh, well, I guess it's true.
So
right?
It is. Yeah. Yep. And
for years, there was this, I guess you'll say, stigma attached to the Caribbean. Or as we used to say years ago, West Indies. The irony is that the majority of black Bermudians, their family, whether it be grandmother, great-grandparents, or somebody, came from some island or the other. And back in the early 1900s, there was a big construction project going on at this place we called Dockyard, Royal Naval Dockyard. And the majority of workers that they brought in came from either St. Kitts and Nevis or Jamaica. All right? I'm fast forwarding her to say that majority of people, once they do a DNA test, they find that if they don't know already, they find out they got relatives in the Caribbean. We didn't just fall out of the sky. So for years, they indoctrinated in us that we're just people in the Atlantic Ocean. We didn't come from anywhere else, right? And then in other islands, it's always the British, in the infinite wisdom, used the thing of divide and conquer, right? telling people
divide and conquer. The strategy of time immemorial, divide and conquer.
Right.
Yes.
Telling people in Trinidad that they're better than people in Barbados. Telling people in Barbados that they're better than people in Grenada. Blah blah blah.
Yes.
They gave the Barbadians, they gave them educational opportunities that they didn't give to the rest of us. So on and so forth. So for 400 years, we've been under this mindset that we're different from that island and we're better than them, and everybody thinks they're better than everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. When people migrated from the Caribbean to whether it be America or England, right? Those people didn't see you as, oh, yeah, well, you're Trinidadian, oh, you're this. They just saw you as Caribbean, and they treated you all the same, right?
Yes.
Badly.
Yes.
And it's once people got into this area, they realized, hey, you know, my accent might be a little different than yours, but our background is basically
It's very similar.
the same.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to where we are now, that governments and the people are actually getting to interact more than they ever did before. It builds on that thing about regional unity, right? Because I say to Bermudians, so if Jamaica's so bad, what's the food that everybody eats up here? What do they eat most of up here, Brother Dawn? Let me be objective here.
Rice and peas, jerk chicken, ackee and saltfish.
Right?
All that.
What music people listen to up here?
Reggae.
And what else? Soca, right?
And soca.
Right?
Yep.
So
soca. Yep.
if the Caribbean is so regressive, why do everything? Most of the 90% of the music you listen to is Caribbean. Is that bad? No. So these are things that people have to come to. Same thing with women in leadership. People have to come to that realization, hey, you know, I've been led down the wrong path all this time. But anyway, we have to wrap this up. And once again, you will be live and in person where?
I'll be live and in person on Saturday at the Progressive Labour Party's gala event on Saturday. It begins at 6 p.m., I believe. And could you please tell your listeners where it will be held?
The at Hamilton Princess, or as they say nowadays, Hamilton Princess and Beach Club. Everybody media knows where that is. The cocktail start at 6 o'clock, and the dinner starts at 7. So,
excellent.
We are looking forward to having you as our guest, as our sister, as our fellow Caribbean / progressive-minded person. And we will treat you with the greatest of hospitalities when you come.
I look forward to it, and I will hold in my heart as we complete this conversation today that there is more that binds us together than makes us different.
Oh,
let's build on that.
One last thing, Brother Doom, what you want her to bring from Jamaica?
I don't know. I think. I don't know if you can fit it. I don't know if you can fit it in your bag.
You want jerk chicken? You want bami? What you want?
Yeah, little bami, little festival.
All right.
Okay, so let's be clear about something. As I'm a regional person, I am currently in Guyana. I am not in Jamaica, but the next time I come to Bermuda, because there will be next time, I shall bring you bami and jerk chicken.
Sounds
and maybe
good.
some rum, because we have good rum too. Right?
Some
as well.
Fruitcake, some rum fruitcake.
All right. So you have to bring us something nice from Guyana then.
You want me to bring some oil for you? I mean...
No. A fridge magnet would do.
I hear you. Okay. I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday and engaging and just, building a vibe, as I say. It's going to be good. I look forward to it with my heart.
And you could just give a shout out to the people that's been WhatsApping me. They have been listening in. We didn't want to interrupt the flow with calls into the radio, but they have been WhatsApping me. So you could just give a shout out to them.
Thank you for reaching out and linking up on the WhatsApp. And when I see you, hopefully I'll see you on Saturday so we can talk and get the questions and answers going.
All right.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right,
Take
comrade.
care. Have a great rest of the show. And thank you, comrade, for having me.
And as they say in Jamaica, power over You know the rest.
I love it.
All right, my sister.
Every time.
Take care. See you soon.
Blessings.
Brother Dawn, thank you for that extended show.
Sure, man. Anytime for you, my brother. Anytime.
I'm sorry, Brother Dwayne wasn't here for
Well, that's why we had an extended show.
For a history lesson.
Yeah. He'd be like confused a little bit, I think. But he'll be all right.
So, Bermuda, thank you once again. And next week, we will be back here once again, educating and informing the people of Bermuda. Love you, love you, love you.
And you have been listening to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson, JP.
You're locked to Power 95, Bermuda's big station at 94.9 FM, a Bermuda Broadcasting Company station. Power 95 plays the day's hottest new music.